Boy, we're going to talk comics today. We'll do it live. Yeah, we're not afraid to go live on the spur of the moment, a little bit early. How's it going, Dr. Masque?
Dale, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Coming in hot, you know.
Howdy, Dr. Masque. How you doing today?
Good, Shadowhawk. How you doing?
Pretty good. How's my sound, Rex? I don't have my earbuds yet. They're on the charger.
Okay. Well, I mean,
earbuds echoing terrible? Is it?
No, it's perfect. I would do away with the earbuds for now.
Okay. Let me know if anything changes.
Now, Dr. Masque, I got a stack of just of stuff that I pulled real quick.
Yeah, that's like coming up with a favorite kid, you know? Coming up with your favorite covers.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I see you posting some awesome Golden Age covers on Twitter all the time, and in fact,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, as you probably noticed if you checked your notifications, I retweeted a bunch of your stuff.
Yeah,
all the way back to August, I think. Well, I mean, they're great covers, and I get on. I like to retweet a lot of stuff from Spinner Rack too. Do you follow Spinner Rack that shows what came out when?
Yeah, I do see those. My only problem is they usually do 4 at a time, which I'd prefer to see 1 at a time. That's just me. You know?
Yeah, you want to see it larger, I guess.
Yeah, when it pops up, because a lot of times I'm looking on my phone, so it's like
Yeah,
but yeah, they have some cool stuff. That was a cool
Are you
one.
on your phone right today? Now?
No, actually, I'm on my laptop.
Okay.
Yeah.
You saw this Scary Tales today?
Oh, yeah. That takes me back, boy.
Charlton. Yeah, I mean, Charlton was that, and Captain Canuck was about the only thing that I saw before besides DC and Marvel on the stands.
Wow.
I can't think of anything else right now that was on the stands besides DC and Marvel, except Captain Canuck when it came out, and I guess that came out of Canada. I don't know. Although I have went back and collected all those. I thought they were expensive at the time, Dr. Masque. They were like 50-cent cover, and the others was like 25. And I was like, hell, I can get 2 books for, get volume, more to read.
When you're a kid, that's what, you're limited funds,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Limited funds. Yeah. Almost broke down and bought an issue here or there, but I never did. I never did buy Captain Canuck. And it was simply a price point. Had it not been of course, small independent, you got charged more. And I applaud what they did back in the 70s. And the quality was so bad on the Charltons. I'll tell you, one run I bought was Charlton Bullseye. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Actually, I remember reading a couple of the Captain Canuck too, but it seemed like I couldn't really find them, very easily. So, but I do recall.
Smoking Wraith in the house. Hello, Smoking.
Hey, Smoking. Yeah, I believe they have a couple of those Scary Tales packed away with all my horror comics.
I've got a few of them too. There was a lot of stuff I wasn't exposed to till much later on, and one thing was foreign comics. This being British. you're just never exposed to this type of stuff. This was mostly reprint stuff from the 50s, 60s, whatever. A lot of the times, but interesting titles. All the titles were interesting.
The size of it too. I mean,
yeah, the size was different. Now I've seen you post this one, so and I just happened to come across this. Journey into Fear. You've posted some of these. This is my copy of this one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
it's not in very
great
shape, but early 50s pre-horror, pre-code book, 10 cents, September 1952. I like that, Dr. Masque, when they put the year on the cover. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
There you
go. This is issue number 9. Weird up here in the corner with a skull. Weird. But these were fun comics, Of course, there was a big comic glut. And one of these is from the 40s, and one is they took a cover and redid it. This unfortunately, a kid got to it and put some crayon on the cover a little bit. But here's the 40 10-cent one here, Blue Circle Comics, that ran for a few issues in the 40s.
Who's that on the
and
cover?
And then
Then
what now?
Who's that on the cover?
And then the cover, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't read it. Yeah, I have great books like this and never read them.
I hear you.
This is just a random lie. After, sorry, Shadowhawk, my fire, I bought this one.
Dope.
Pretty nice shape. I mean, my local comic book shop had some older issues. If I remember right, I paid $45 for it.
Wow.
Deal.
Okay.
Because I've held on to it. And here was one that I don't think I paid too much for. Daredevil number 20 with the owl.
Oh, very cool.
Now I see I see you focusing mostly on Golden Age on your repost, and not so much some of this newer stuff. Here's X-Men 95. Do you have that one, Shadowhawk? 95.
I believe so. Yes.
Man.
Yeah, that's one of the few issues that had what's his face? Thunder.
Warpath.
That's right.
Yeah.
He didn't last too long.
Dr. Matt, I see you posting a lot of Golden Age. About as far as I've seen you come up is somewhere in the early to mid 50s with your postings.
It's for me, because I grew up through the 70s and 80s, and I was exposed to a lot of that. But a lot of this Golden Age stuff, this is the first time I'm even seeing it. I'm like, it's like discovering new things. So
right.
I think that's why I focus more on that. And there's a lot of people out there posting, Frank Miller Wolverine and whatever.
Right.
So
well, Gerber did a 2-set volume showing you a lot of those Golden Age covers. It's like an encyclopedia of Golden Age covers.
Oh, really?
I picked up a used set back in the day. It was expensive, about $250, $300. I don't know.
Wow.
At least to me, that was expensive at the time. But now I picked up a used set. Now it's been a few years ago, but for about $50, $55. So you might look into that. Great hardback set if you want to see all those Golden Age covers. Here's the first 3 appearances, and the reason I collected these was the Adler collection. I actually have the first appearance of the Black Orchid. These are the first 3 appearances of the Black Orchid if I hadn't ran out of money, I would have 2 of the covers. Her third appearance, I think, was available. But that's the Black Orchid's first
that's a
appearance
great cover, huh?
Adventure Comics. Her second appearance, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not really looking at issue numbers here. And her third appearance, and this one was available with the Adler collection, but sadly I don't have that. But maybe Robert does, and I'll get it from him at some point. Here's one you might have seen. Old Dale, their 4-color comic that started in the mid-30s with the first issue, I think, was numbered with Dick Tracy being the star of the comic. Shark Hunters, which was based on a movie with Victor Mature as the lead. This is number 762 from January 1957, and it has John Buscema artwork in it. Photo cover from the movie.
How do you feel about the photo covers?
Just like any other, they either hit the mark or they don't. Either it's a good cover or it's not, right?
Yeah. Rarely do I post I think I'm more focused on the art, so rarely do I post a photo cover, but
right.
But I do have some. Anything with Vincent Price on it, I'll take it. So
here's a great one from the 4-color. I need to get the other one with Steve McQueen on it. Wanted Dead or Alive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on 2 of the 4-color Dales, and I had that one. I need to get the other one.
They're like little mini movie posters,
Yeah,
if they're done
little snapshots in time. Here's a Fantastic Four 58. Yeah. Great run.
Nice.
Dr. Doom cover.
Dr. Doom.
I'd like to collect all the Stan Lee and the Jack Kirby's. Of course, my favorite team, can't forget them, the Avengers. There's an early Hyperion with a Masque, Shadowhawk.
Yeah.
And Dr. Spectrum and the Wizard and Nighthawk, I think his name is, right?
Is that
up against the Avengers there?
Yeah, I can't remember first Nighthawk or
I believe that's Goliath right there. That's Hawkeye.
Yep.
Yep.
As Goliath.
The blonde hair.
Yep.
Their first appearance can't be much before that, can it? The Squadron Supreme or
well, it was called the Squadron Sinister at first.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Yep. See here at the bottom it says Squadron Sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some early appearances in Defenders as well.
Yeah, I always when I was first introduced to Hyperion, I just assumed he was a bad guy, and then
I'd have to open it up.
Years later, he was a good guy. So
this may be a double cover. It may not be, but I know this is a double cover, and a good one too because it's a black sensitive cover. Dial H for Heroes, House of Mystery. He's going up against little Menace of the Micro Monsters.
Black, I remember back in the 70s.
Double cover, man.
Nice. Back in the 70s when they ran that, you could send in your hero ideas, and if they used them, they put your name in the comic.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried. They didn't like mine apparently.
Say that again. Say that again. They did what now?
You could send in your ideas for a hero.
Yeah, I did that.
And
I did that. Did you do it?
Did you get any put in? Yeah, I did too, but they didn't like them, I guess.
No, I didn't. This is an error issue. Mighty Thor number 475, embossed full cover. It's an error issue because they got the pages out of order inside.
Oh, wow.
So I wonder if they, if I could grade this. would they grade it if it was an error
catch it,
issue
yeah.
like that?
They might, but I don't know how CGC scale would work. If it's out of order, it
Well,
might
I
count
wouldn't
against
know
it.
either because I'm not using CGC.
Well, whichever one you use,
I got you.
They still have some kind of rating system. So
got to get my tape started here. Magic tape. This show brought to you by Magic Tape, the only tape a collector should use. Sorry, folks. That's my feelings on it.
Gorilla Tape is the only way to go. Take my word.
Gorilla, yeah. No. Disavow.
Steal your books and never open them again.
I'm just
got boxes
trying to put this postage loose.
Can't have too much.
Another great Avenger cover. 102.
Korean style
Grim
page order,
Reaper.
True Goblin says.
Oh, Grim Reaper. I love those villains like that. Those quirky villains.
Reaper. Yeah, he was always cool. I like the scythe.
Yeah.
This was a great one I showed the other day. The Challengers of the Unknown with the octopus.
Oh,
Jack
Tentacles.
Kirby.
Tentacles.
I've tried to read Challenges of the Unknown a number of times, and I just haven't been able to get into it.
Was that
superhero Dracula?
Jack's title?
This is a public domain character now.
Yep. I know a guy who was actually trying to buy the rights for that.
Now that's probably a subscription crease. You see how they used to do comics? Subscription crease down the middle.
Yeah, I used to get those.
Did you subscribe to some comics, Dr. Masque?
Yeah, my Moon Knight Psychoids run all had creases down the middle.
Oh God.
But they were awesome, boy. I love that run.
Yeah.
Brave the Boat number 31. Don't know what year this is from, but definitely early 60s. Cave Carson Adventures Inside Earth.
Nice.
Ooh.
Look at that, man. They got their little the only machine there. Their
subscription I ever did was Green Lantern, and I think like 1978 or 79. It was still Green Lantern, Green Arrow on the cover. But they would come in the mail like a Playboy every month. It had like the brown paper wrapper around it. They were embarrassed.
Every one of them, they folded it in half and stuffed it in the
mailbox.
Yeah,
they were mutilated, dude. I always prayed it was a light mail day when my comic showed up, so it didn't get beat up too bad.
This is 68 pages, Atomic Rabbit. You can get nice comics like this from the 40s. If you look around, I only paid $9.50 for this.
Really?
Of course,
I got ripped off because it was originally 15 cents. 15.
Yeah, right.
68 all new page. 15 cents. That's a rare, where they put the price on there more than once. It's on the cover 3 times, making a big thing out of it, like a candy cane. Comic Rabbit. And that's
double value.
That's an early Charlton. This is an early 40s Charlton.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know why they printed comics, right?
Huh?
You know why Charlton made comics?
What?
Because they wanted to keep their they wanted to keep their presses running. So they're mostly a magazine company, but they're like, you know what? If we print comic books, we can keep them running and make more money. So
if they shut down, it cost them some money. The Durango Kid.
Oh yeah, setup is a pain in the ass on those big printing presses.
Number 9. Look at the color. Look at the color on that.
Durango Kid.
Charles Starrett as Durango Kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just very
colors on that are nice too. Yeah, it's just getting ready to say.
Yeah, they would do Mad Magazine. This is the company that did Mad Magazine.
Oh, okay.
As they did comics, but pre-code, Stamp Comics. You ever seen Stamp Comics number 4?
I've seen Stamp Comics. They're trying to get people collecting stamps. Is that it? Or
I think so. I think you could. Yeah.
They were trying to do a crossover, stamps and
Sometimes
Yeah.
you buy. I like to buy weird stuff like that.
Yep.
Now
I hear ya.
This is really coming up. But one of my favorite super groups, which had the Fantastic Four origin ripoff, and I know Eric and Boyd will like this because he likes the UFOs too. UFOs.
Oh yeah, those are awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Love the going and Captain America going up against Puma, which started out as a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
That's John Buscema with
Puma got around a little bit. I think he
Pomeranian.
even got into it with a Daredevil at some point, if I remember correctly.
Now, a lot of the early stuff, like the first appearance of the original Daredevil, red and blue Daredevil. You aware of Daredevil, Dr. Masque, the original Daredevil?
Oh yeah, with the boomerangs.
With the boomerangs, exactly. You are correct, sir. Yeah, and then you think
awesome costume.
Black Terror and some of the other Golden Age characters. Well, the first appearance, in the early 70s, they did these black and white, a little bit larger than normal size. Here's Avengers compared to it. So let's see. Height-wise, it's a little bit taller, and it's that much wider. Just a little bit tighter, maybe nearly a half inch, and then that much on the side. But in the early 70s, this company came out with a lot of the reprints of the Golden Age stuff, black and white insides, but color covers. This is the reproduction of that from the early 70s. So it's over 40 years old, or around, is it 40? Yeah, I guess around 40 years old or so, 50, maybe 50 years. Police Comics #1, which is the first appearance of Plastic Man, the Human Bomb. I don't know, maybe the Mouthpiece as well. Phantom Lady might have been around. I don't know. And introducing Firebrand, which is another big character. So a lot of the Fawcett did this, but Plastic Man's first appearance in the Human Bomb, you might notice. That's with Uncle Sam and his group, Phantom Lady and the Mouthpiece and Firebrand there, which DC owns the characters now because they bought out Fawcett. That was put Fawcett out of business.
So it's a 70s reprint?
Yeah, that's 70s reprint. Yeah, wow. 70s. Black and white interiors. This is a cool one that I either bought or I think I bought this one. But I was unaware of this at all. The title, Flying Saucer Comics. These stories could be true. Strange, possible events, weird tales of UFOs. What does it all mean? We're still trying to figure it out. And look at that. Look at that. Does that not?
Yeah.
I remember in the 80s when they rolled out the stealth bomber for the very first time in front of the public. Reagan.
That looks like the old FA-71.
60s, in the mid 60s.
What's the company on that?
Crazy. That's
Charlton, right? Okay.
That's Dale.
Yeah. Oh, it's Dell. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was
Dell. You had Dale. You had Gold Key. We're going to see some Gold Keys here.
I remember a gold key flying saucer one too. I don't remember UFO or something like that. This
is Ron Wilson. People don't, I knew Ron Wilson mainly from Marvel 2 and 1. But, and I met him once back in 1983. He's about 6'5", big black guy. Just looked like a linebacker then, Crypt of Shadows. You've probably seen this one, #12, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I think I have a copy of that.
Yeah, everybody needs a copy of that, including Doc Blaylock.
Greetings, boys and girls.
The doctors.
We'll have to go back and show him the Avengers covers because he's a big Avenger fan. Like
I had it playing on mute. I was backstage with Anthony. We got the proof copies in on Pariah. Okay. And we were looking at those. So,
yeah, he's got a little project we like to call A Damn Dirty Thing.
Don't you mute my snapping, sir.
Carrie.
Hail, Tree Goblin, Smoking Wraith, and Carrie. Good to see you guys.
Oi, Carrie. Hey, Doc.
Hey, Shadowhawk. How are you, brother?
I'm good. How about yourself, sir?
I'm excited, man. We got the proof copies in on Pariah.
Ooh.
Right. 2, 3 little changes we got to make with the just positioning some stuff.
1 little, 2 little, 3 little changes, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little.
There was like on the double page spread, for some reason, the font is like double the size it should be. So we got to figure that out. And then the interior front page and interior back cover need to be twigged just a little bit.
Twigged?
Twigged.
Twig. Never heard that expression. Come on.
Tweak.
Tweak. Twigged.
Twigged. Look it up. Look up the verb.
Right.
Twig. Figure it out.
Master here.
Figure it out. Make sure a writer. Use words.
Yeah, I need to use
Get
that
you a speak sword, lad. Come on.
M's too smart.
M's not.
Speaks goodly.
Speaking of Golden Age and Silver Age, there was a great line in a comic book way back in the day where Spider-Man was fighting Ox. And
Octopus?
Yeah. No, Ox. And Ox was trying to hit Spidey.
Hey,
says, yeah. And he says to Spidey, he goes, Ox beat Spider-Man, make new name for self. And Spidey says, why, is the old one too hard to spell?
Nice. I used to love the old Spider-Man comebacks, man.
Man. When the writer, whoever's writing Spidey at the time, is really in sync with who Spider-Man is, they're great.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Rex, I got to have you on a stream here soon, dude.
Okay.
I'm booked for the next 2 weeks, but I want to get you on to talk about your project.
Can do. Do you want to wait? You want to talk about it before or after I release, or both?
Well, it doesn't matter to me as much as it matters to you. It's just you can't hide here in the Rex Aquarium forever. We got
I totally agree, and thank you, Doc, for the offer. I will accept. I do need to start ginning up excitement for the.
You do. And bring Shadowhawk with you, because I know you need your security blanket when you come outside.
He's the enforcer.
I don't mind to bring him, but it'll probably have to be on the weekend unless you're doing it late at night, which I'm not opposed to. And I know you got to get your.
My show is Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. So sorry, Shadowhawk, you'll be at work.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man.
He can call in.
Well, I know he sneaks off. He sneaks off to the bathroom. He sneaks off to the bathroom at work to be in my chat. So I appreciate that, Shadowhawk.
Yep.
Now, we had a fabulous time over last night on, it was on Luke's channel this time, and I actually got a bunch done on the front and, some on the back, but it's coming along.
Yeah, man. Very cool.
Especially there with Bob.
Focus. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
said, give it a chance to focus. Looking good though. Only
Yeah, especially worked on the bog and separating bog and the overlay.
Pixels the size of a checkerboard.
I'm sorry, that's just Kirby Crackle.
That's right.
And if you believe
I'm gonna let that slide by. I'm gonna let that slide.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I went real thick on his tail here. I'll use the Doc Martens. He just didn't have this curved. I want it to be, these long, when you're inking long, arcing, and you want it to look pretty seamless, it's difficult. So, I'll get it the way I want it. And you know what? This may be cropped up printing anyway. But I want it to look
that's one of the reasons I tell people when you start drawing, inking, painting, whatever it is, learn to work from the shoulder first, then down to the wrist and the fingertips. Always. But that looks good. That looks really good.
I may be doing that, Doc, but it's still, it's still a lot. When you it's easy to do that. You can just rough it in. Believe me, this was rough.
I understand completely, sir. My dog ate my circle template, so I'm having to draw the tires on these cars freehand, and it's a motherfucker.
Well, this I'm having to make decisions that the artist didn't make.
Right.
I would love to just sit down and just ink what is here, but I can't do that.
Right.
And not only do I think, have to think, okay, how do I make this better? And I actually glad I had the John Dillard prequel cover to go by, because I kind of based it, that did inform my, redrawing of the helmet, because he had like a, it's supposed to be one fin, and actually, I had already inked in Innerman's hand there, but with shading here, I think colors are going to really make this pop, but I have to finish.
Oh, sure. It's looking good, bro. You're doing a good job.
I'm trying. It's a
no, Rex. What you meant to say is thank you, Doc.
It's a struggle. What I meant to say was what?
Thank you, Doc, for the compliment.
There you go.
Thank you, Doc, for the compliment. Didn't want to.
So let me update you, gentlemen.
Where?
Not only are we going to start fulfilling on Pariah here any moment. Damn Dirty Thing. The art is almost done. The script's already written. But I'm on page 10 of the novelization of A Damn Dirty Thing.
Nice.
And I'm having a fuck ton of fun doing that.
Now, Dr. Masque, you don't have to answer this, but did you back Doc's book? Damn Dirty. Pariah Bleeding Blood.
I love the way Rex does it.
You can I
think this is the second time I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you would probably like swamp monsters and things like that, golems, and so this is like in your wheelhouse. That's the only reason I ask, because this seems like right down your venue. What kind of comics do you like, Dr. Masque?
I still read a lot of horror. I've kind of cooled off on superheroes. I read them all my whole life, and when things started to go south and DC and Marvel, I mostly, gravitated towards 70s horror, Golden Age horror. But
good call.
I've been reading a lot. You're not going to buy my book. I get it.
I would totally buy your book. That didn't stop me from buying Andy Smith's book, or But I've been reading a lot of independent stuff like Innovation, PC Comics, Eclipse, things like that. A lot of different genres.
Well, I've got a mixture, and then here's Doc's last year's story that he worked on for me. So if that don't do it for you, I don't know what will,
I forgot about that page.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And this is going to be spot colored. This will be the only one that's in color somewhat, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, this Doc knocked it out of the park here. He's currently working on a story for me, another Bog story. So you get 2 Bog, everybody. It just worked out that way, folks. I'm trying to utilize what I have.
Now, is the Pariah on Fund My Comic right now, or?
No, it's it was on Indiegogo, but it's we're going into fulfillment here pretty soon. The next campaign and all subsequent campaigns will be on Fund My Comic because we were shadow banned on Indiegogo.
Those bastards.
And
now I've got a question.
I don't do business with people that hate me.
I've got a question for all 3. Dr. Masque, you can go first. You're our special. Shadowhawk, you can go last because
nobody cares.
Here, you're the other. No, you're the other host. And Doc's here. Who knows how long Doc's here? His wife will be going, I have a roast in the oven. Come eat it, honey. And he'll go, yeah, Rex, I got to go. We got to get together soon. See you. Bye. And he'll be gone.
I don't blame him.
What was my question? On the crowdfunding thing. Do you think that Fund My Comic is a big enough I mean, if Ethan went over there, which he says he's going to eventually with at least one campaign, do you think it's going to get the foot traffic that a larger platform like Indiegogo or do you feel like you're missing out on part of the audience?
I think it's inevitable that Fund My Comic will slot into first place there after a time. They're just giving better customer service. They give better customer service, better rates for the creators.
You know when that'll be, Doc? Is it going to take a couple years to build up or what?
It's going to depend. They've only been running
like 6 months, hasn't it?
Yeah.
They've only been in business for like 6 months. So
yeah.
And they're already getting 5-figure campaigns. It's only a matter of time till they get their first 6-figure campaign. The sky's the limit after that. The word is going to get around among creators that look, like I have several friends who are all about Kickstarter, and I don't bear them any ill will. They love it over there. They're successful, but it just takes that one time to get banned or shadow banned for some mysterious reason that they never make clear to you. They'll never tell you why. And they'll tell you that because they are who they are, you can pick one and suck it. They don't have to tell you anything before you'll go, well, you know what? Old buddy, old pal, you're fired. I'm going to Fund My Comic.
Right.
Yeah. To let you know what I think about Fund My Comic is whenever I go to a show now, I bring a stack of Fund My Comic flyers with me.
There you go.
And
good man.
And I talk to creators and say, hey, you interested in this? And, and they see the difference in fees and they're like already like, oh, I'm going to check this out, So, and I do eBay and other online selling, and I've been stuffing them in there too in the packets.
There you go.
So,
very nice.
What type of stuff do you sell, Dr. Masque?
Anything and everything, but that's
okay.
But I've been buying and selling collectibles for years, which is why I don't have a lot of the stuff that I used to have.
Cool. No. Well, just leave me in a will. I'll be happy.
Couple things.
How about you? How do you see Fund My Comic going?
Fund My Comic, I'm kind of in the same boat as Doc. I think with just a little bit of tweaking on Luke and his partner's end to kind of get a few more features on there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, easier to manipulate somewhat.
Right.
But the big thing is, and I've heard a couple of people say it already. Ethan's mentioned EBS. Malin has said months ago already that he's going to put something on Fund My Comic. He doesn't want to be too crazy. Did he already put something up? All right.
Yeah,
so the more of these guys Reenie's on there. She's over what $20,000 now.
Yeah.
So that's that's a 5-figure account.
Yep.
There's been more and more of them happening. So the more people that jump on, I really think that this is going to be the place for creators because it's catered towards creators.
Agreed. PayPal, and I want to thank you for the autographed pic that you sent me. Appreciate you.
He's starting a website called Fund My Feet because he likes to sell his lotion feet pics on eBay. He says Vic's joining the Orange Dojo. Leland's taking him under his wing.
Liam.
Well, whatever. I don't care. I'm not backing his book, so I don't. He's not hard.
Talk about an unbeatable duo, Vic and Liam.
But the
Rex, I'm sharing my screen if you want to show. If you want to show.
Well, not till I finish my thought, Doc. Which is congratulations to Vic King for getting monetized and some super chats already. So he got monetized and actually got some super stickers or something.
Did he hit the 500 mark?
He did. Yep. There we go. Pride, Blood, and Mud.
Well, congrats, Vic. Yeah, look at that baby.
Yeah,
look at that baby.
I brought that up when you mentioned it earlier. I just wasn't sure if you saw it or not.
Well, now that's your cover, Doc. I know you had 2 others on the campaign. Can you talk about those for a couple minutes? I mean,
sure.
Not for a couple minutes, just mention them.
Yeah, just happy to, man. The amazing, legendary Jim O'Reilly was kind enough to do a cover.
Yeah.
And
he made the golem look like Doc.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just saying.
And then speak of the devil, Luke Stone from Fund My Comic did an alternate cover. And that was colored by Carol Lee. These colors on mine and on Jim O'Reilly's were done by Matt Krotz. So really good work.
Well, out of all those 3, Doc, I backed your cover. Just
well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I would have liked to back all 3, but hey, at least I got the book.
Well, some of us just went all in because we like to support our friends.
Yeah, that's why, by the way, Shadowhawk.
I'm just going to run.
You're getting a sketch card, but you're also getting, spoiler alert, an 11 by 17 original.
No, dude, you are the man.
I can't not do that for you, brother. Come on.
And I saw your message the other day after I posted my sketch cards. You got more coming.
That's right, baby. That's right.
That's all right. I've got a whole nother one of these.
Yep.
Yeah, I got Doc's. I got his Wanda up here too.
Oh, and
I love my Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. My Scarlet Witch is a beautiful piece.
Yeah,
I've had to relocate her though. So
let's remember though, Shadowhawk, we're not showing that to anybody because this is not my best work. Come on, that's just.
Well, I mean, you can see it on my Instagram page. I guess it's probably
fun. Who in CG though really? I mean, I'm sure they're out there. Who's doing war comics?
Yeah, check that out.
There's been talk about it, but nobody's actually done any.
Right.
Well, I know one that's in development.
There's been some like weird variations. Isn't Matt working on what is that? Rock and Roll Ninja or whatever? That's
Billy Tucci could. He did a limited series on Sergeant Rock.
Oh yeah, Billy.
That was awesome.
That.
Our friend Glenn series. Fleming is currently working on a WW2 book.
Ah, excellent.
Oh, there you go. That's right. He is, isn't he? Okay.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So
Billy
far, so far, it looks amazing. Everything I've seen looks great. The dude can flat out draw.
Oh, I believe it.
I thought I heard. I can't remember her name now, but Charlie's London was working on something.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I guess so.
Charlie Aisha something.
I'm so used to calling her Charlie's London.
Charlie, I just call her Charlie.
Yeah. Oh, is it? I mean, she's going to diverse away from the Charlie Chaplin books and do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point. I don't know how much of a rush it is, but
well,
yeah,
well,
it's
really interesting.
She's a historian, dude. She's like,
she's a teacher. Yeah.
Well, I think she went back and like got her master's or whatever in historical.
Oh yeah,
writing.
she's not playing.
Yeah, no, that's one smart little lady right there, man.
Yeah, she is. And
I
very
feel
nice.
like people are. I was going to say, I feel like people are scared of just the war thing. You know, I got to see people mixing the war in with horror or whatever.
Tree Goblin says Glenn is a G. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Tree. He's the OG, man.
Glenn Fleming is absolutely one of my favorite creators.
Oh, dude, and one of the sweetest people in the world. Fun
to talk to.
A joy to talk to, dude. He's always just upbeat, lively, fucking just great people.
If you don't know Dr. Masque, I am now following him. Not till today, Dr. Masque, but I am now on Instagram.
I see how you roll.
I love that. I started on Twitter, and then I went to your YouTube channel, and then that had a link to send me to your Instagram. So, that's right.
You could look for that. You can look for Dr. Masque or Dr. Masque Retro on Twitter, Rumble, Getter. What's the other one? Gab.
YouTube channel.
I do have good news. I'm resurrecting my YouTube channel, so.
Oh, cool.
Within the next week or two, I'm gonna start uploading some new stuff. So.
I followed you on Twitter, so be sure you drop the link to your YouTube channel when you do that.
Yeah,
Once I start, I felt it's in my profile, but it felt like I'm not putting anything out there, so it's really nothing. But
well, you got 20 subscribers. I think we can help you with that. He's got 11 videos up already. Joe Frankenstein, King Cryptid, plastic 1970s plastic Batmobile toy.
Yeah, that's me restoring a Batmobile from the 70s in the package. It was covered. It was covered in paint, and turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
And I grabbed I bought at a show. I bought a Batman transistor radio, and the guy's like, "Yeah, it doesn't work." I'm like, "Oh, I'll do another YouTube video about fixing this radio."
I'm subscribed to number 20.
Thank you. And then I started looking into it. I'm like, it's a lot harder.
You're 21. You can drink now.
Yeah, it's
you're of age.
Is that solid state yet, or is it still in old like little tubes and stuff?
Yeah, it's just your old school transistor radio. The one. It's from the 70s. It's shaped kind of like Batman. It's I don't know, 5 inches.
I remember seeing those. Yeah, okay.
It's $15. I'm like, well, it's cool to just look at it.
We looked at this. We looked at this yesterday. I thought it was maybe they changed the name from the movie. Because you were saying the movie was called what? Shadowhawk? Reptilicus, and this is Reptosaurus. The terrible.
Yeah,
I actually have this one in my collection, although it's not in that great a shape. Still 10 cents, an old Charlton with UFOs. You gotta love it.
Oh yeah.
Not sure who the artist was, and that's your lizard representation, by the way. We like to get things out of the way when it comes to the lizard representation.
Doc is grabbing some coffee, by the way. He'll be right there.
Okay. Are you going to do anything special, Dr. Masque, for Halloween, which is quickly coming upon us?
I don't know if we know yet, but generally we go to a friend's house. My son's been trick-or-treating with the same kids for about 15 years, and well, maybe not 15 years, 10 years, but he's 15 now. So it's like they just kind of go on their own. So the adults sit around and drink, and they go trick-or-treating. So
there you go.
One of my favorite movies from the early 50s. This is a foreign poster. I just thought I would share. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
I actually grew up in a town, Athens, near Athens, New York. Well, it's where I was kind of born, but and they filmed the sequel. Part of the sequel was filmed in that town. The war, or not sequel, the remake with Tom Cruise, I think. Was
that's cool. Oh, okay. They actually had a War of the Worlds TV series, which I have on disc. I watched it not too long ago.
Is that
look at this Man-Thing cover. They distressed it, made it look like an old comic.
Oh, okay.
Look at those proportions, Doc.
Who drew that, man?
And no hips and legs.
That fucking Bisley or something? Who drew that thing?
No, that's not Bisley.
Let's not disparage that. Let's not disparage it too much, because I posed for that, okay?
Oh, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it.
That was the light model.
Yeah, I was the light
I like this better, but,
Hello.
I like this better, but anyway.
Look, you can't throw a palate cleanser up there, Rex, and not give it time to focus.
Really? Okay. I think this is one of yours that you've posted in the past, Dr. Masque, Jesse James.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's
number
not the
one
cute girl.
I mentioned Avon Comics the other day, thinking a comic was Avon. It wasn't an Avon. I do have one or two Avon comics in my, growing up. Avon was a little bit different meaning to me than a comic.
Right. Is the Avon lady?
Yeah, Avon from the 50s here.
Hey, if that broad would have showed up at my door with a big old box full of comics, I'd have let her in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come on in, girl. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk, man. What's up?
Show me what you've got. What's in the box?
Oh, come on, what's in the box?
Now, you might like this, Dr. Masque. Aaron LaPresti's Kit Carter coming out.
Yeah, that looks good.
That's intriguing.
Right. Pale Rider lawn is holding up fine.
Sean Hawk, what did your wife do to your lawn?
It's an old Pale Rider joke, man. I don't want to get into it.
All right. Listen, I love
something about his wife urinating on the
He likes to say that my wife urinates outside. So,
hey, pal, that's not nice.
For that, Shadow. I got that.
That's that just plain wrong.
Here's another one that Dr. Masque.
It was I forget. I walked into it somehow. You know me.
Ghost Comics. I've not seen this.
Doll.
Ghost Comics.
Witch's Doll.
The Witch Doll. Incubi of the Snows. Incuba. I don't know. I can't resist. I must go where she calls me.
Ooh.
Yeah, skull-like face.
Yeah, I love those covers that tell stories.
Yes. Always liked
absolutely
the horror, the Western covers,
fiction,
the sci-fi covers that looked like movie posters.
Yeah.
Now, how do you find you say cover of the day 1954 Ghost Comics number 11 from Fiction House, art by Maurice Whitman. How do you find that information out and the pictures for what you post?
Usually it's just it's a trade secret. No, it's Digital Comic Museum.
Okay.
Usually, and sometimes I go to the comic database, but every once in a while, I see, wow, I'd like to read that, and I'm like, here's a link to it. Go ahead.
Yes, I did say it first. I will own up to it. And
I feel like I need my fedora for this.
This is the abuse I put up with around here.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Oh, here's one you posted. Detective Comics number 76. Most people don't know Signal Man from DC Comics. I know Signal Man. I've got an old foreign production piece with Signal Man on it from the 50s. Signal Man goes way back with Batman. Whoops. Get that up there real quick.
He operated
He's got
the bat signal.
He has symbols all over his costume. This is an Ernie Chan and Vince Coletta on the inks. I noticed 30 center. I always like that Batman logo.
Yep, me too. Yeah.
With the
there's your death
big
trap
cape and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it kind of distinguished it from the Batman book, right? You got Batman, you got Detective Comics at the same time.
Yep.
Forever. Why did you feel
I
the
always
need to get
preferred
a
Detective Comics. I don't. It
Yeah.
just always seemed cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a sketchbook of Batman villains.
Batman's been in Detective Comics longer than Doc,
Batman.
Why did you feel the need to wear your fedora hat? Was it the postings, the things that I was putting up like this?
Well, while I appreciate that, that is not the reason, sir.
Now, who's that?
That is from the Unholy 1957, The Unholy Wife 1957. That's Diana Dors, D-O-R-S. Guns Against Gangsters, number 4 from Novelty Press, LB Co. cover 1949. Yeah, you get great covers like this. It's Guns Against Gangsters.
Ooh.
Great perspective, you know. It's like,
yeah.
FBI and G-Man covers, you know, were a big thing in the 40s and I guess the early 50s, especially in the 40s after the pre-war. That and romance comics and some of the non-superhero comics, like you were talking about, Dr. Masque. I want to show you. I promised you some gold key. One of my favorite Solar Man of the Atom. When we were talking about this the other day, Shadowhawk, green skin.
Yeah.
That's such a great costume.
Yeah, and I collected the Valiant reissues of Solar. I really liked them.
Okay.
I never knew he was green.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I noticed he was green in the old ones.
Yeah, and his visor changed a little bit. Here's a few others. He was all over the place. There we go. See that old gold key.
Good old gold.
Some of those read like science books, you know.
Painted covers, every one of them painted.
Yep.
Doc should appreciate that.
Cool stuff.
Very colorful.
Yeah, those are tempera paints.
Were they?
Yeah, they did amazing.
Yeah.
Now, are you thinking gouache or tempera?
Tempera.
Really?
I know whereof I speak, sir.
How can you tell?
Now, tempera, Doc, isn't that where you use like the egg yolks?
Yeah, there is a method of egg tempera, but tempera by itself just is a specific formula of.
Oh, gotcha.
So, like when you think about Frank Frazetta, he painted in tempera.
Oh, okay.
Reoccurring character. He was on the other cover there.
Killing me.
Atomic Escape from the Lost Dimension.
The glare was giving me a headache, Rex. That's why I had to grab my fedora.
All right, okay. Well,
to shield my eyes.
They're still in the bag. Dark. Still in the bag. He's on quite a few of the covers, actually. I guess maybe he was the main villain. The Lost Dimension. It's probably my pixelation. See, I don't see it here, but later when I go back and watch it, I do. I think it's my internet just not keeping up
Could
because
be.
I have a good camera.
I don't.
Steve Ditko's Weird Comics. You had a posting about that. Love some Steve Ditko, especially his Charlton stuff.
Check that.
He did, of course, the Blue Beetle and Captain Atom and the superhero line when he and Dick Garagano sort of launched that. But he also did a lot of their weird tales. That was, look at that last panel with the
it's crazy
guy just going all plastic, man.
That actually looks so familiar. I think I may have owned a copy of this at one point.
Wow.
I remember that panel.
Yeah, if you see a panel like that, you don't tend to forget it.
Yeah.
Nightmares
His
for
Doctor
Years.
Strange stuff was amazing.
Yeah, it really was the first. You even get into romance comics, or you did here. You posted a romance cover, fully painted romance cover.
There's so many great romance comics. They get no love
Thrilling,
at all.
enchanted,
no pun
romance.
intended.
Right, and you know what? You're right,
Dr.
Masque. That is a true story. There was a lot of fantastic art and storytelling in those things, but as a kid, was I going to pick those up? No. As an adult, have I gone back and looked at them? Hell yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
Dick
G.
And
and
you had artists like John Romita, that did a whole bunch of them, and I even have some by John Buscema, at least the covers. Lars of Mars, I remember Lars of Mars.
You can't beat that.
Saying it, I don't.
It rhymes.
Huh?
I said it rhymes. It's
well, it sticks with you. Lars of Mars. Fantastic. This character here may have came straight out of the pulps.
Yep.
There were a few characters that made the transition from pulp stories to comics. I'm not even sure who published this, but you have the information. So on that website, I assume it has all the information. Oh, that's okay. So that's Ziff Davis. That is a British comic. From 1951.
Okay.
Art by Alan Anderson. Very cool.
Yeah, usually Digital Comic Museum has everything there. Sometimes they don't. I have to go digging a little bit. But some of the old ones, they just don't know who drew it,
Lawbreakers, suspense stories. This does not look like an exciting cover to me, but interesting,
I think I just liked it. Opening the closet and there's a dead person there or a ghost or whatever it is,
I mean, who hasn't had a moment like that?
Ghost animal.
Yeah.
It happens, boys and girls. It happens.
Oh, I forgot I left you in here.
Yeah.
Now here's one that Captain.
That's where I left that.
I don't have this issue of Brave and the Bold, but that one's neat. That's another Cave Carson.
I love that freaking robot.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
that's
retro.
Cool. Yeah, man, that is so.
That's wild, dude. It's cool.
B-movie retro. I love it.
This is probably colored by Jack Adler. I mean, he, when it gets to the mid 60s, all throughout the 60s, a lot of these were just colored by him, and they're just, it pops. The robot, that orange robot, just pops. Think about it, an orange robot.
Think about an orange robot.
He's got, look, he's got the whole gambit of colors there. He's got green, he's got blue, he's got purple, he's got red, he's got orange.
He would be so disarming.
Yeah, I mean, it just pops, man. It just grabs your attention, and that's what a comic cover should do, right? What is a good comic cover, do you think, Dr. Masque? What's a prerequisite?
I'm all about telling a story,
Yeah.
I'm all about telling a story. Like a lot of the ones now are just pinups, you know.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to pick it up.
I apologize for that. Yeah.
There were a
Well,
lot of
all right.
covers in Golden Age and Silver Age that would be more appropriate as a splash page these days. But I agree with Dr. Masque. I like to see that kind of storytelling on the cover. I'm not opposed to a pinup posed cover. It's well done.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy
But I'd
those.
like to see if it's going to be just a beautiful cover piece. I'd like to at least have it have something to do with the inside of the book. Like
Right.
maybe have the hero and the villain, not just the hero standing there in a generic pose or.
What I never liked was when you would get a different cover artist from the interior artist, and the cover have nothing to do with what happens on the interior.
Mm-hmm. I always hated that shit.
I guess I'm screwed then.
Especially when I was a kid, dude. I was like, what the hell?
Well, how would you classify this, Dr. Masque?
I think especially like a first issue, this type of cover is great. You're introducing a character. It looks like you're giving some background with the image around it. Yeah. It's funny because you're talking about favorite covers, and I started looking at some of the artists I like, and I'm like, wow, I really like this cover, but it's not the kind of covers that I would say are my favorite, which are telling stories, They're iconic covers, like the giant Batman or the giant Joker with the Joker card or whatever. I can't remember the number.
How about Superman in Crisis holding Supergirl's limp body, which is probably the most
tells more of a story, but I do like. I mean, like I said, trying to pick a favorite cover is like picking a favorite kid,
Well, back in the 60s and maybe going up into the early 70s, they would do a cover, and I left those upstairs because I showed them recently, but I could have brought them down. They were Justice League, where they're sitting at the seance, and the first appearance of Justice Society of America cover,
Yep.
Their first 3 appearances, I think I have up there, and I just didn't grab them. But
can I share my favorite cover with you?
Well, let me quit. I mean, let me finish my sentence, and then yes. Demon in a bottle. Okay, there we go.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great run.
And that is a cover that tells the whole story. The use of the mirror.
Is that Bob Layton?
I think so, yes.
Yep. His name is on it.
Okay. He did he did the whole thing, I guess.
Looks that way.
I'm not seeing his signature, but I'm sure it's there.
It's on the lower left above the box.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an iconic cover. But now, making an iconic cover is kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it is.
To come up with the striking imagery. And
have it be something that hasn't been done already.
Yeah, right. Well, I didn't try and reinvent the wheel with my cover. It's what I call a burst through cover, where he's coming through. But now I did make a difference since he's got like fire powers, so like singeing and burning it, which I don't know that I've seen that often. But still, it was actually based on a DC Comics Atom cover from the 60s, where he's, by Gil Kane. But probably shouldn't divulge that. But I mean, it's just basically, the outline, of him bursting through, the cover. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like a preview cover, Dr. Masque. I'm introducing the character. I'm introducing all those characters that may not be in the book. They're not all going to be in the book.
Right.
Bog's going to be, and he didn't even really get in there on the cover, just a little bit of him. Inner Man's in there. He'll be in the book. Other than that, all the other characters are there. Just show them off, and introduce them on a cover. But originally a lot more of the characters were going to be in there. But since I moved that cover up from the first issue to a prequel status, it's more of a preview cover. I have no problem with what I call preview covers.
Hey, Mrs. Good Stuff.
Mrs. Good Stuff in the house, just swinging by to say hi. She says, "Have a great night." What are some of your favorite comics, Dr. Masque? Of all time. Of all time.
Of all time. Well, I mean, I've been a Batman collector since like 89, but growing up, I read anything and everything. So I would read, superheroes. I'd read Archie, Richie Rich.
Romance?
Romance is one thing I don't even remember seeing it. And probably if I had, I would have been like, who cares?
War comics? War comics?
War comics, definitely. Unknown Soldier, really? Sergeant Rock.
Oh, yes. God, Unknown Soldier.
GI Combat. Yeah. I would devour any comic. It didn't matter, really.
Sergeant Rock.
I remember I had a run of Christian comics, too.
Oh, yeah. Spiral and Spire comics and some others.
Yeah, there were... And then there were the Crusader comics, which my one youth pastor said he didn't like them because it wasn't trying to get you to come to God. It was more about buying fire insurance. So
yeah, well, I think
they're all about you're going to get burned in hell if you don't do this. So.
I think those were came out with the people that do chick tracks that were about.
Oh yeah, I think it was the same company. Yeah. Some of those were pretty sketchy too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were very anti-Catholic, and they had a few prejudice towards certain groups or things. They had their definitely.
Did you ever go to a church where they had I don't know how our church ended up with it, but I kid you not, in the vestibule there was a spinner rack of those little tracks.
Yep.
And I thought they were
seen them. Yeah,
I thought they were.
I used to sell chick tracks. I used to order trick tracks for our because I worked at a Christian bookstore for 6 years, and I used to order the chick tracks, but I knew which ones to kind of steer clear of and not carry. And, they would send you samples. That was the great thing about, we got a new track. I would read them, review them. And if it, sometimes I'd order them, sometimes I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just thought they were
good.
I
kind of sense. It's good that you were reading them. Yeah. That's what I thought too, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a message in there too. Oh, well,
some of them,
so I just took them to look at the pictures.
Some of them stuck with me, like the Lazarus, the Lazarus, a beggar at the gate, and he dies in poverty, and the rich man, right? It was basically that story. But it starts out with a plane, and this married couple, they're like, oh, we've been on the missionary front. We're retiring now. We're coming back. 30 years on the missionary front, but they really didn't have a relationship with God. It was just works, and they died in a plane crash on the way back. But the poor guy, Lazarus, or whatever it was in the chick track, didn't have much in life, didn't do much for God, but he was, newly converted to Christ. And he went to heaven, the other went to hell. So, I mean, that was my story. I just remember Paul's words that we as believers are not to bring anybody to raise up anybody to heaven. So that's why eulogies are so hard to me. We want to put everybody in a good spot and not get people mad at us. But really, that's God's business. Nobody knows anybody's individual heart. And the way I see it, and you were not to put people in hell either,
Yep.
See, we're not to elevate anybody to heaven, and we're not to bring anybody down to hell with judgment. That's between
Yeah, that's the
sovereign God in the individual.
When atheists will say the whole, I thought your Bible says don't judge. That's the only judgment it's referring to is don't put yourself in God's place to judge the standing of an individual before a living God.
But we are to judge all things and to discern.
We are absolutely otherwise commanded to use sound judgment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure. Hey, Miss Good Stuff.
Yeah, she's already gone.
Oh,
yeah, it was a drive-by fruiting.
In and out.
But now Hex Allen's popping in saying ahoy denizens of
Howdy, Hex.
He said fopping in, Hex. I heard him.
Flopping? Flop. I return to impart judgment on all of you. Wow. Well, hit that like button for Doc's sake, will you?
If
Doc don't want to do it, if you don't want to do it for Doc, how about Shadowhawk or Doc?
Don't do it for me. Don't do
it for me.
We had a
do it Rex, for me. Be different today.
Do it for me.
Do it for Rex. We had a great show on the coffee shop today that carried on an extra hour and a half beyond normal with a great writers panel, Rex. And I was wishing in retrospect that I had sent you the link because we were talking writing, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I want to have some more interaction on your show for sure, Doc, you know, especially since I'm in campaign mode, you know, get out there more. I will accept just about any link. I was not up today. I was up late last night and got up with a whole story on my mind.
There you go. There you go.
Didn't all quite write it all down, but I had the basic premise for it. I will hit the like button for Dr. Masque, Shadowhawk, and Doc, maybe for Rex. Eric says, well, good. Better still, guys, leave a comment, disparaging or positive. It doesn't matter to me. It helps my algorithm. I need to get monetized. Darn it. You know?
I know. All right, well, hey guys, I'm gonna call it an early one tonight. I gotta get something to eat and get some sleep, man. I'm bushed today. Sorry.
Shadowhawk, always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Always happy.
A pleasure.
Always happy to be here, guys. I just wish I wasn't so tired today, but I shall see you soon. Hail all, hail CT, and keep on.
See you, Shadowhawk.
See you, buddy.
I have one more comic I want to show.
Bye, Shadowhawk.
Whoops, he kind of cut out. But now this is not Jack Kirby, but I mean Steve Ditko, but he did a bunch of these from Charlton in the 50s. Sort of a Phantom Stranger type character with the fedora and everything, right? The jacket.
Yep.
Tales of the Mysterious Traveler.
Mysterious Traveler.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got multiple stories in there with the Traveler.
Time waits for
no man. Yeah.
I have one
jackpot prizes there.
I have one of those, and it's in such bad shape. I don't even think I could read it.
Yeah.
It
just the cover's not quite off this one, but it's getting.
Who's the publisher on that, Rex?
That's Charlton.
Okay.
Charlton goes all the way back to the 40s, and as Dr.
Great looking cover, man.
Was saying, Charlton came along because they wanted to keep the presses running. You know, if you had to shut down the presses, it takes prep time to get all that up and inspected and stuff. So that was why they did the big little books and comics and a lot of that stuff, just to keep the presses.
And running. That's why they didn't care about the quality of it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about Charlton in my day, which would be your day, Dr. Masque, and yours, Doc, in the 70s and 80s. The quality was so poor, you can't get those CGC graded or CBCS graded or PGX, whatever, whoever you go with. I mean, you can try, but the quality is so bad on them. A lot of them, they'll say, we can't grade this.
Wow.
I know with CGC anyway. And a lot of that was because of paper shortage, actually shortage at the bottom. You know, it was hard to get a good copy of anything. You know, it was bottom of the line quality. Really the only thing that I bought from Charlton was that Bullseye, and that introduced like the Blue Beetle and reintroduced, you know, probably for the first time to me in a way, Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, the old Charlton characters. You know, there were other, it was different every issue. And a character I like that I was hoping they actually ran a book on there, but it didn't fund, Thunder Bunny. And he was the only one. Thunder Bunny is great. It was like Dial H for Hero that we were talking about earlier. He finds this alien ship and it's kind of anthropomorphic animals, aliens, whatever, you know, and he puts his hands in these handprints, but they only have like 3 fingers there because and it turns him into Thunder Bunny. Anytime he slaps his hands together, so he can't do that clap on, you know, he would be changing back and forth like Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. But it was, and he had a lightning bolt. It was much like, you know, Bugs Bunny meets Captain Marvel, you know, with the look of him. He came out in a blue and white costume, and
I have no memory of Thunder Bunny.
Well, now he was only in 2, but now he was at Warp Graphic. He was at Apple Comics. He was in magazine format. He was in, you know, he at Charlton. So he's made his rounds. And they were going to collect all that into a hardback, but sadly it didn't fund. Probably should have backed it anyway. They might have came out with it anyway.
Thunder Bunny.
Thunder Bunny. Oh, it's great. He was only in the blue and white costume his first appearance in Bullseye, and he was the only character that reoccurred twice. I think he was in issue 9 next, and then he was in a white and red costume, and that's been his costume ever since. You
all right, Rex, I got to get going, buddy.
Okay. Smell that roast, huh?
Well, I've actually got to cook, so I got to bounce.
Okay. Take care, Doc. What are you going to make?
No idea yet.
Okay. Grilled cheese sandwich. Soup. Easy. Just a suggestion, Dr. Masque.
I made stew today, so.
Ooh, yeah. Did you make enough for a day or 2?
Yeah.
Stew's one of those great things that you put in the refrigerator, and it's actually the flavors married together over time, and it's actually better the next day. Kind of like spaghetti.
Yep. Chili.
If you do it right.
Yeah, I'll be making chili tomorrow.
It's more flavorful
today. Yeah, I'll be making some chili for the weekend. So
there you go. Everybody's working for the chili weekend.
I got a board game day on Saturday, so I'll have a bunch of people over and we'll hang out, play some board games, eat some chili. Maybe some hot dogs or something.
You know, like Doc, he's sort of doing noir, I guess noir crime type. I guess that's a different type of book that we really don't see a lot of, you know, in the crowdfunding scene, but I hope that we see more of.
Yeah, I agree.
So you like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I grew, like I said, I grew up reading everything, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny because I talked a lot about the horror, but one of my favorite books recently was the Tinseltown from Alterna.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like a period, you know, crime, I guess, mystery book. I mean,
well, see, I've been mostly a superhero guy, and you know, I really unlocked, and I haven't been writing except since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I was caregiving for a gentleman, and I had a lot of time on my hands at night. because he was restless, couldn't sleep. We were trying to get his medication and everything. And it's like every 10 minutes, he'd call me in there for something. And I tried drawing, and I did a little bit of that. But I was doing a lot of thinking during that time.
Right.
So I just started, would get an idea and started writing it down and started writing. And I said, man, I feel like I'm a pretty good writer, if I just put my mind to it. What my thoughts down. Of course, there's different styles of writing and everything, and I've never taken any writing courses or anything, but I think I know pretty much, and I'm not a good speller, but that's what editors are for, right? Get a dictionary, get a thesaurus. Did I say that right? That sounded like a dinosaur.
Yep, you did.
Okay. Yeah, I've not claimed to be that educated, although, I did go to college. But
so is that where Devil Flyer came from? Was just all that time of sitting there and...
Well, I've created characters forever. I've world builded forever. And then once I saw the crowdfunding vehicle, I was like, yeah, now there's my distribution point. Plus, if I just build up my channel and talk to my audience, then I can build up hopefully a customer base that'll like what I'm doing. And just started out, I had Devil Flyer in mind and came out last year with the Ash Can, which was, I wasn't ready to do the full book, even though it was pretty much completed. It wasn't the time frame. And I'm glad I gave myself the time. Because I said, I don't think that the Devil Flyer story is enough to pique people's interest. So I started writing the backstories. But the main story took up so much space in it. It's like, I got to rethink things, So in the meantime, I'll come out with an Ash Can. So I did that and worked with other artists, and got that out last year. And then, actually earlier this year. And then, but in the process of adding the backstories, it's like, this is great. I can tell all kinds of stories, while trying to introduce these characters, like Grave Tales, Second Skinned, are more like the horror stories that you're talking about. Although I don't think it's really horrific stuff, slasher. It's more classic horror, I suppose.
Right.
But now all these characters, like my bog character, my swamp character, like Swamp Thing or Man Thing, is going to be, or the Heap, going way back, right? Probably the original, the Heap. Are you the Heap?
Yep. Yeah, I know the Heap.
Airboy Comics. Yeah. I have some cover lists in there with the Heap in it, with Airboy. Do you have coverless comics, Dr. Masque?
Not many anymore. I used to have some, but at one point they were worthless, and then now you're like,
right.
I remember seeing a graded page from a Batman comic.
Oh yeah.
Just a page.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah.
Like,
if it's a key issue, they just want to own a piece of it. One of the things that has cropped up in the last few years is that you kind of like Picasso. All right. So we'll do it like the stock market, and you can own like a percentage of the painting as it goes up in value. You'll get dividends on there if it sells or whatever.
Right.
Same thing with comics, like Action Comics #1. You can buy a certain percentage and not own the comic, but own a piece of it. Isn't that crazy? But
that's nuts.
yeah, so it's become kind of like an anthology type thing where I can tell different stories in different genre. Like the Sea Demon story is sort of like my Aquaman character, but they're all linked. They're all linked to the main Devil Flyer story, in an arc. But I can tell different stories. And then the way I'm going to do it, Dr. Masque, I don't know if you've heard on this channel, because I know you watch or this channel some. I know.
Yep.
I don't know how frequently, but the way I'm going to do it is issue 1 will have 6 stories, issue 2 will have 5, issue 3 will have 4, till we get down to the climax in issue 6, and then it'll just become Devil Flyer, all in one story. I'm rolling in the characters from these other stories into the main story. So you'll read about
a good idea. Yeah.
You'll read about Inner Man in his own story, but eventually he'll be rolled in to the Devil. Devil Flyer will meet Inner Man in issue 3, things have been bumped up, so it may be issue 2 now that they meet. I think it is. Now that I'm getting I really needed to get the elephant out of the room, because we did a lengthy story. We did 29 pages of the Devil Flyer story. And if you like Golden Age artwork, John Falandes did the artwork. And I know you've seen the trailer, but we're going to play it again. 30 seconds. Tell you what I'm talking about with his artwork. I'd never considered his artwork looked Golden Age, but I suppose it does. So, but once I put it out there, the Ash Cannon was kind of pushing that and showing people John's art. In fact, the first show I did was Pop XP with Billy Tucci and Niles over there. And it was all about Golden Age stuff. I was on with the gentleman, Austin, I believe was his last name, that had a campaign up, looked great. He even had toys, he'd been at it for a long time. But it had he was definitely going for the Golden Age stuff. They look like Mago toys. Did you have any Magos growing up?
I did. I have Magos now. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. Well, now I have them, but the only reason I have them is I have Zara from Planet of the Apes.
Okay. I had Dr. Zaius.
Well, mine had boobies. Once you get the clothing off, I'm just saying.
Right.
I still have her. She's right in there, as a matter of fact. And I have all the Star Trek figures.
Wow.
Which, they've been going back. I've got a Sulu now and a Gorn. Yeah. Although they originally did come out with Gorn. The lizard.
Now, what was the one they had? I forget, the half black, half white on his face. Frank Gorshin.
Well, I never had that, but Frank Gorshin, that did the Riddler.
Yeah.
That was. They were warring because there was difference. It was the story in the 3rd season about Rice. He had white on one side, and the other guy had white on the other side, and black on the other side. And they were warring all over that. They destroyed their planet. They wind up on their own planet, desolated, and still chasing each other.
Yep.
It was kind of like a planet.
Was a great episode.
You blew it up! You damn dirty apes! Well, the apes did do it. Man did,
Yep.
We are our own worst enemies.
That is a true statement.
We need, and if we will take a hard look at ourselves, Dr. Masque, in the mirror, and if I will work on Rex and you will work on you, and everybody will work, but there's some people, they refuse, especially if you have a hard childhood or something. They just don't overcome life's obstacles. Look, life's too short. I know at the end of my life, I still won't have life figured out. That's okay. That's okay. But never stop trying. There's some people, they're man babies, Dr. Masque.
That is true.
Or Nancy Pelosi, 80-something years old, and she still ain't got a clue. And I mean, if I said, these people don't have skills. How can you live 80 something years and still be a blank slate? I'm not trying to get political here. I'm just saying I am amazed by some people who are my elders and should know better, but they were part of that 60s hippie thing, I guess, where they tuned in and dropped out, Timothy Leary style. Did too many,
right?
If they did too many drugs and they blew a fuse, I understand that. That's understandable. But these people have been lucid maybe the whole time, and they still don't have a clue. It amazes me.
They're not very lucid now.
Well, no, they wear Depends and they drool on themselves off camera. But I mean,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, what can you do?
Vote them out. Yeah, I loved underwater adventure stuff. You probably grew up watching a lot of the same cartoons I did. I don't know your age, Dr. Masque.
Yeah.
But the old Hanna-Barbera stuff, Johnny Quest,
yep,
Space Ghost,
Super Friends,
Herculoids. One of my
Super
favorite
Friends
was Moby Dick. Super Friends, yeah.
Yep.
That's telling me you're a little bit younger than me. Maybe.
Did you watch the Tarzan one?
Tarzan, yep, in the late 70s by Filmation.
Yep. Yeah, I think
and
the
they
Lone Ranger
had
was going
Lone
at that
Ranger
time
too.
Yep.
I
those are both
actually
good.
have some. I had those on disc. I'd forgotten I had them. I was looking through DVDs last night and I was going, "Oh, Lone Ranger by Filmation."
Score.
I had that. Score, right?
That's awesome. Yep, that's always good. Finding stuff you forgot you had,
Oh, and ACG comics. I haven't seen you list very many ACG comics though from the 60s. Those had some wild covers.
Yeah,
have you ever
cool.
seen ACG?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. ACG. I have a few of those. And
I don't get out of that.
Yeah. Huh?
I don't get far out of the 50s.
Well, I
don't know if you saw.
I think there's some good things in the 60s too, especially from
there
ACG.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I posted a
in
Bernie
fact, ACG is the inheritor of like those suspense and strange stories. And
right.
Charlton. And Charlton's got a bunch of good stuff there too, especially the Ditko stuff.
Yep.
Get off Rex's lawn. Wow. Okay. Just don't urinate in my own yard. I mean, I'll urinate in my own yard, and I do.
For a few days ago, I think it was
that same cover, huh?
No, I was going to. I posted Secrets of the Sinister House. I think it was. It was a Bernie Wrightson cover.
Okay.
So that's from the
probably 70s.
I don't know, late 70s probably.
Yeah. Here's that same book, but the reprint of it in the UK. And that would be oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the company's name. Can't remember. I have an extensive UK collection, but yeah. Let's see what the price is on that one. 5 pence. Yeah, I've seen them for 1 pence. Those are really old. I don't know what a pence is. I mean, it fluctuates all the time, right?
Mm.
Did you ever think that your comics would become collectible? I mean, at some point you did, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is what happened to me. So I grew up with comics. I've had tons of comics, and I had a huge collection. I probably had at that time, about 8,000 comics. And I was a teenager. So I think I was like 17, 18. I was just like, you know what? I'm not really reading these anymore, and blah blah blah. And so I ended up selling them all. And then within a year or so, I know, it's so stupid. Within a year or so, I became a comic book dealer. I became a comic book dealer. So so then I was buying and selling all kinds of stuff.
I love this cover that you posted. Some of these I bookmark, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I need to do not necessarily the acid thing, but maybe a transformation cover, you know, or something.
Yeah.
With just the hands over the face and the shocked look. But now what was really cool about this to me was that there was this is acid, like she's thrown acid on his face, but what if it was somebody else's hand holding like the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde serum that they had been poisoned or something, you know? You could do a twist on this. I don't know.
Or you could have the guy would be looking horrific, and you could have the reflection be like the monster, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be a different way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that a lot, that people like covers that relate to the book and tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that iconic imagery, right? Like I've got Tank Ferret doing me a cover that is the heroic, you know, Devil Flyer with the trident up in the air being struck by lightning, and, you know, just a heroic looking poster because I'm not, you know, cover. Now, whether I use it as a cover, I don't know, but that's one image he's working on for me. Sadly, he's been ill lately, but I think he's starting to recover.
That's good.
He ran like 104 fever for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do have a Blue Beetle number 6. I don't have this one, but I have a Blue Beetle number 6 that at some point I'm going to show. That was a wartime cover. He's holding I would call that a bad cover. And I know I posted that one, but
right. The perspective is all messed up.
Yeah.
It's Blue Beetle, and he's a tiny little head in the corner. Because she looks like a giant there, you know.
But you know what? The most exciting thing to me was the Blue Beetle, just the head with the little word blurb there. It's like, I've got to use that at some point, you know?
Yeah.
On a cover or something, because that's a good device there.
Right. It's fun.
I thought it was pretty cool. You could almost look up her skirt, you know?
Right. Yeah. The woman is definitely well drawn and sexy.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, wow. It's just the perspective is not right.
Well, how can you tell perspective? It's an all yellow. I mean, I know he's close. Huh?
I think it's the logo that's just kind of throwing it off. You know, it's kind of looks like he's right there. He's not like, there's no, like you said, there's no floor, there's no nothing. It's just looks like
I mean, I would have probably, of course, it would have done some overlap, but maybe moved her over to the left and maybe made him smaller at a greater distance. Might help this,
or
you know.
Or if you want to do it, just do it, you know, just show him strangling her with a tie, you know. I mean,
well, that would have been some easy stuff.
Exactly. But to me, it looks like that's what they're trying to go for here. I don't know the time.
Well, that's interesting. When I have Xevious on, we'll have to talk about that, because that's a good point. Your logo can throw off the cover art.
I mean, I like the fact that she's like breaking the logo, but it just doesn't work like this.
Right. What's pretty neat is down there in the circle, it almost looks like a circus blurb, you know, like Barnum and Bailey Circus font. Just,
right.
I don't know. To
Yep.
me, that's kind of, and there's so much space at the bottom of it. Why didn't they center that better? You know, pretty wild. At least this one's double stapled. Mine was a wartime book from 1942, and there was, I think it was 64 pages. There's only one staple holding that big ream of paper together,
Oh,
Dr.
wow.
Isn't that wild? That was the first single stapled comic I ever got. They also came out with some penny comics in the 40s. Here's you some Jack Davis EC goodness, that Dr. Masque werewolf piece. Jack Davis would later go on, same company, would do Mad Magazine.
Yep. It's
But
funny.
you know, when you think of Jack Davis, you think of his cartoons and his funny stuff. You don't think of anything like this.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's where I discovered him, was Mad Magazine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The very first stuff of Jack Davis's I ever saw was not serious stuff like this, horror stuff from his EC days, but his Mad Magazine type stuff. Here's one of those romance comics by John Romita Sr. And he was really suited to romance, really, you know, with his style.
Do you follow Marcus? I think it's Marcus Kelligrew. He posts one of those every day.
Actually, I think that's one of his postings.
Yeah.
What about this Blue Beetle cover? What do you think about this one? Does that work a little bit better for you? Now again,
See,
he's going to strangle her.
Right.
I mean, there's strangulation covers.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's a well done cover.
Woman like that, I'm going to, especially a ginger, I'm going to be hitting up on her. You know, living proof that crime never pays. It says, Jack Legs Diamond, Scorpion of Death, a true crime story narrated by Blue Beetle, and also 2 original Blue Beetle features. All that for 10 cents. Nice down shot of her cleavage. Not much there, but you know.
Yeah.
Does this one work a little better for you?
Yeah, definitely.
I guess she's on the beach and got ashtray there on the railing.
Yep, there you go.
With the cigarette butts. I think I would have put a few spots or something for the sand, which there is around her feet there, but you'd think you'd see something, but they just went with the yellow. I would have put a speck or two just for, you know. That's the cool thing about Golden Age covers, though, Dr. Masque. They're very simplistic sometimes, especially in the coloring, because they had a limited color palette, didn't they?
Yep.
I think Marie Severin in the EC stuff kind of changed that with her coloring with the EC stuff. But you often saw shocking scenes like this with EC comics.
Yep.
Bunch of beheaded people being kept alive. You know? Not a great caption, really. Gasp.
What can you say?
Yeah.
But you know, they actually held back, because I mean, a lot of those EC comics have so much text in each panel. It's like, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing about it. I don't like when it gets too wordy, and some of the Golden Age were very wordy.
Yep.
Here's another great Blue Beetle. I have a soft spot in my heart for Blue Beetle, and I'll tell you why. It wasn't this Blue Beetle, the original Golden Age Blue Beetle, but the Inheritor. You know, the very first cover that Devil, my own character, Devil Flyer and Hopper were on. Devil Flyer standing right next to Blue Beetle.
Wow.
Although they call him the Blue Scarab because Blue Beetle was copyrighted and owned by DC Comics. It also had Catman and Kitten and Man of War on the cover.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that, but I have 3 copies around here somewhere. Oh, and there's one, since I have it here handy, one of my oldest books, one of my oldest comics, and we've not talked about this. A lot of comics didn't have glossy covers, especially like the large, there's my Treasury editions. You probably like Treasuries, right?
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
I have that one. Yep. Yeah, I don't have the Superboy.
Yeah. And
super expensive now. Geez, some of those.
We were talking Herculoids. These are some
that's awesome.
Model sheets by Alex Toth. They're not originals, but and then I know this will bring back, I mean, damn, just the designs, man.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
The characters, just wonderful characters, man. Who doesn't like a rock ape? There they are with Fantastic Four, Birdman, Shazam, and Frankenstein Jr.
Yep.
There's Moby Dick. And
I don't know if I
Galaxy
ever saw that
Trio.
Moby Dick.
You never seen Moby Dick?
No, I don't think so. Is that That's Midor, right?
Speak. He said, Geronimo. Oh, it's great, man. It was one of my favorites. I love
to check it out.
Yeah, check it out, man. I've not seen if it's okay. I was gonna grab for this. Got sidetracked. 1939. This was a Gulf oil giveaway, like a Gulf station, probably.
Yep.
It's just a folded page. It's 4 pages, front, or inside, back, right? Had like a Buck Rogers character here on the cover, which is pretty cool. Or Flash Gordon type character. Wings Winfair. This is from February 20th, 1939. This is issue number 302, I think. Funny Weekly. And then there's the box where, the station would normally stamp, but this one's unstamped. 1939, one of the oldest comics I own. And it's just a 4-pager. This is all there is of that character, and you open it up and it's totally different, different features. Which I'm fine
like with. 4 different stories, or
yeah. Oh, here's an older Bog piece that you may not have seen that I did back in 2016. I only created Bog in 2015.
Nice.
So, yeah, you'll get some Swamp Monster and,
yeah, you were talking about your comic then, and it reminded me of what Zaid Comics did. That's kind of what with the lost pages they were.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
And then you find out what people like,
I like what they did was kind of like covers within the book.
Okay. No, I didn't
get
see
like
that.
the silhouette, and they do like a cover splash page.
Okay.
They almost look like
cool.
covers. At least I think they did that. You did get the lost pages, didn't you?
I did not. No.
You did not.
I think when I think when that was out, I was pretty early with the crowdfunding thing.
Okay.
I had backed one project that will remain nameless.
Okay.
Had a really bad experience with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to do this again. And then Graham Nolan put the Chenille out. And
Right.
I'm like, well,
yeah.
I kind of know Graham because I had met him a few times at shows. He had done sketches for me and stuff, and I'm
Right.
like, I trust him a little more, so I gave it a shot, and he was awesome. So,
well,
I wasn't
that
so
was
gun
one of
shy
the
after that.
first books that I backed. That was one of the first books I backed with the Chinook.
Chinook, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Dr. Masque?
What do I think about the show?
Did you
or
like
the
the
picture?
Adam
Or?
West? Did you like the Adam West Batman
You
show?
know, when I was a kid, I loved it, and then when I got to be like in my early 20s, and the Batman movie had come out, and I was like, that stuff's stupid, you know. Why did that? And because that's all anybody would ever think of. I'm like, Batman's way cooler than that. And then as I got older, though, I'm like, it was good for what it was back then, you know. I enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch probably a disc of it from season 2. I kind of went through season 1 and season 2 not too long ago, and I was like, when I first bought them on disc, it's like I watched maybe up into season 2, and it just lost interest, and it was like, oh, I can't do this. This is, at that time. But now that I've went back through it, and maybe it's the death of Adam West. I don't know. It's like, and I did get to meet Adam West once, and and then there was the spinoff, right? There was and even crossover between the shows on one storyline with Green Hornet and Bruce Lee as Kato.
Yep.
Have you seen those? Probably not in a long time, huh?
Not in a long time, yeah.
And
I own them all too.
Carrie, oh, do you? Yeah, I do too. But now, is yours an official release? Mine's a black market on the Green Hornet.
No, it was an official one. They released it.
Was it? I never knew that they released it officially. Okay. Maybe I need to get a better set of it.
Yeah, that's why you saw the Batman 66 comic come out, because they finally settled the rights.
Okay.
So
I don't think they ever will with Hanna-Barbera Fantastic Four. Carrie's got a question. What do you guys think of Blue Beetle as a character?
The Dan Garrett one, I don't know if I read a lot of him. I've read a couple, maybe. He seemed fine,
which
but
one was
I know
Dan Garrett. That was the Golden Age one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if anybody's interested, they can go back and listen to the there's a Blue Beetle radio show from back then.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because it seemed like every episode, if he needed a power, he just got it, you know. So
I can't quite remember, Dr. Masque. Did he have a movie serial?
I don't know.
I don't think Blue Beetle ever did, but he would have been prime candidate to have one.
Yep.
I would think. Maybe he wasn't popular enough in the Golden Age. I mean,
Yeah, maybe. And I think when Ditko rebooted him and at Charlton, I think that was a more interesting character.
Right. And he lasted up till early 2000s, and then they killed him off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of a sore point with me. If you buy the rights to a character and then kill it off, but then
they reboot him as a kid.
They renew the character, though. They kind of reboot it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Well, you saw what they were originally going to do with those characters anyway. They were going to give them to Alan Moore for the Watchmen, and then they, at the last minute, they said, no, we're not going to do that. But so it didn't seem like they held a lot of value to them. But I thought Blue Beetle and The Question were probably the two best of the bunch of those, of the Charlton ones.
I've noticed that you've listed some, that you've shown some Western comics. Bronze Star, that just closed out on Fun My Comic was kind of like a weird Western type.
Yep.
Do you like that when it mashes up? I liked like weird war tales and books like that mash up genres.
Yeah, I backed Bronze Star.
Did you?
Yeah. As soon as that went live on Fun My Comic, I backed it. So,
well, there's not many collectors like you that are willing, you know, like myself. I do appreciate it all, especially now later in life. But all the genres in comics, even romance, you know. Are Momentum Comics going to do romance comics? Probably not. Will there be romance in my comics? Yes. I think you can work it in. I mean, people
there was
are
romance in
relational.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, you have, oh man, I mean, they really messed with him for a while, like Mary Jane. And then we had Debbie, somebody in like with the glasses, the blonde in the 80s.
Gwen Stacy.
And you also had the Black Cat character messing with him.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there for a while, I thought Peter Parker's a whore dog.
Well, what I think it was Graham Nolan.
You got that Darth Maul mask from? I actually got that from Deals years ago, and I think I paid $5 for it. It came with some kid had separated it from the costume. It's probably an old Ben Cooper. I bought that in the 90s, so I've had it for a little while.
Nice.
This is a Frankenstein mask up here. Did you? I noticed you. One of your, I think it was you that mentioned Joe Frankenstein, Dr. Mask.
Yep, I like that. I bought it. I actually got a graded copy because I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to meet Chuck Dixon. So,
right,
because he doesn't really do shows anymore. So,
yeah. Well, next week we're going to have on not Chuck Dixon, but Mike Barron. I asked Mike, who's written more comics, and he said Chuck. Chuck's. There's few writers that have written, you know, as many comics as Chuck. And Mike says he's fast, you know.
Yeah. He's the most prolific comic book writer in history, and he can't get a job with Marvel or DC.
They're better off without him. Or
he's definitely better off. Yeah, he's definitely better off without them.
Yeah. I mean,
I actually have a Conan novel of his I just picked up. I gotta read that.
Now this is an IW comic right here, although I've not seen it. But I see the little pyramid up there, and it's IW. A top quality comics, it says there. It's a #1 issue. So, okay. Let me back up. I don't know if you know the story of IW.
Nope.
But IW was this gentleman. That's 1958. Yeah, late 50s. I could tell you that by the issue number. Their comics were not in ordered sequence. I mean, they did go up from like 1 to, you know, certain higher numbers. If you get like a number 17, that's later. That's going to be early to mid 60s.
Okay.
This gentleman bought out this printing place, right? And it had all these printing plates and stuff. And even though he didn't have the copyright, you know, he would reprint this stuff. Much like that, you know, and during the 50s, sometimes I have an adventure comic that has a shoe store cover on it. You know, they would be given away because in the 50s and 60s, they used to give, when you went to shoe stores and places like that, they would give kid comics. That was a good way a good promo to get the kids in there to buy a new pair of shoes.
Right. Yeah. The Buster Brown ones.
Yeah. March On comics, the little bitty comics. Used to be giving those all the time at the, you want to get a new pair of shoes? Yeah, let's go. I'll get a free comic. Those were really my first comics I read, were much like the Archie stuff with Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, and places, characters like that. But I'd seen them on cartoons on TV. It wasn't until later that I was introduced. I mean, the very first superheroes I was introduced to were like Johnny Quest, Space Ghost, Birdman, also Fantastic Four, 1967 Spider-Man, Aquaman by Filmation was a big one, Superman, the Teen Titans. They had Filmation did the Teen Titans. They did the Atom. They did Hawkman. Hawkman was one of my favorites. Maybe that's why I have a winged character, Not really. I mean, but anyway, I see we're over the 2-hour mark, Dr. Masque. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I know you've got a lot.
Well, thanks for
comment.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be running out to pick up my son at some point. So, but
okay. Well,
thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, I hope you'll come on. I remembered Wednesday's a good day for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
you're invited if you want to come on next Wednesday. We'll kind of talk comics again.
Okay. Yeah, I've had my head down.
That enthused about it.
No.
Okay.
No, I've been just busy. I've been trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of made up my mind that I'm going to do all the things that I've been wanting to do that I just haven't done. So.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of selling stuff. Trying to get some money. Yeah, just clear out some of the junk I got in my house. And
hell yeah, I need to do that too, bro. Definitely.
And then I was like, I used to write a lot in high school and college, and then for some reason I got a job and I just kind of stopped, except for like I write a lot of technical documentation. So I started writing again, which I haven't done that in years.
Good.
So I'm working on an 8-page comic script.
Awesome.
Which is the first one I've ever written. So I'm sure it'll be terrible, but I'm going to at least finish it and see what it looks like, And I've been doing board game design for.
Can you kind of give us an idea of the plot?
It's a basic 70s horror, like think DC House of Mystery kind of stuff. It's like one of those 8-page stories from that where the story is basically these two women that are have been competing with each other for years, and the other one decides she's going to get revenge by going to a witch doctor, a warlock to have him help her.
I've probably asked you this before, but how did you come up with your icon character?
Well, the name was based on the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Masque of the Red Death. And so during one of Pete Sametti's campaigns, I said, hey, can you do me like a skulled character with blood spatter for like the Masque of the Red Death?
So this is Pete's work that's what he did here?
Yep,
oh, wow.
That's Pete's.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. Overall, what do you think about Alterna Comics?
I love Alterna. I love the stuff they're putting out. I like Pete and I like his show. I mean, he does a lot of. He's geared it up in the last few months where he's just on all the time. I can't keep up with it. But
and he's got
John's a lot of cool guests.
He's been on John Linebox, and he doesn't normally do a couple hours. He's a busy guy, but he has over there at John's, and I'm surprised. Had him on this show once. We need to have him on again, but yeah, he's ramping it up. I think, now you can invest in Alterna.
Yep.
You know, because he's been having some financial difficulties on that side, and I would hate to see alternative go by the wayside, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's the only comic you can get at that price point, you know?
exactly.
I mean, where else
And
you
the
gonna
quality's good. Even though it's
Yeah,
on newsprint, it wasn't the newsprint of the 80s or the 70s
right.
or
Yep.
60s, you know? It's nice bone white paper, you know?
Yep.
No pin hose. Remember the pin hose at the bottom had holes in the
Yep.
page?
Yep. Yep.
Those are actually a metal pin, you know, that
Holds
create
the
those.
paper, yeah.
Yeah. It's still used today in printing, folks. Printing has not changed that much since Gutenberg. Well, all right, Dr.
You
Mask.
may
I don't want to
All right.
imbibe on your time too much, but
Yeah, no
we are
problem.
going to have you back on here. You
I
are one of my
appreciate it.
favorite people to talk about comics with.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I
hope you learn
like
some
coming on
things.
here chatting too. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what I love about YouTube now is seeing all these cool streams and learning. I'm always learning something. As much
Yeah.
as you think you know, there's always something else to learn. So,
Well, we're all into comics and other things, but I mean, primarily comics here. You know,
Yep.
we love it. So, and
well,
I know
I get my
don't
channel up.
show as many of my.
Yeah. Once I get my
Oh,
channel up
you're
and
gonna.
running and I know what I'm doing, I'll have you over.
Oh, cool! Absolutely. Here pretty soon, I hope, because my book's coming out soon.
There you go.
I'm hoping on the weekend, like maybe November 4th, launching November 4th here on this channel.
Okay.
But yeah, I need
Right,
to
that's
start
cool.
really shilling it more and lining up some shows to be on, you know,
Yep.
just to get the word out that, hey, I've got a book, it's up for sale. Give it a try, you know. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Give this first one a try, and if you don't like something about it, you know, and don't want to come back for more, then, you know, I won't bother you, you know.
Right.
But, you know,
Well, I think you're going about it the right way anyway, as far as you started with the ash can, you know, and then do an issue or whatever. I think that's smart.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I've already got one book under my belt. It may just be an ash can, but I mean, I can't tell you to produce something and hold it in your hand and say, I made this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's an awesome feeling. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a sense of pride. You should, and you know what? To see my mother after I came out with it, you know, like she was genuinely happy for me. She was generally pride.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't take her over a copy. Maybe I should, so she could show it around. Because she was, even without that, she was like, when I brought it up, she was like beaming, you know. She can't believe I'd taken this as far, and she doesn't know half of what I do, you know.
Right.
But
yeah, you're a machine too. You're on like every day, aren't you?
Every day. Yes.
I don't
every
know if
day at the 4 o'clock shadow, if anything, sometimes 2-3 times a day.
Wow.
Hey, I'm in campaign mode. You'll be seeing a lot more of me.
Yeah, there you go.
On different shows and on this channel. I'll be all over the place. Probably won't be getting anything done, but you know, that's
get over on Comic Book Radio.
That's the trick, Dr. Mask, to get, you know, to be on continuously and also get stuff done.
Yep.
Because it is a commitment.
Yep. Well, I've decided to carve out a certain amount of time every week to do certain things, and that's what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Again, thanks for carving out a little bit of time for us today.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. We will we'll talk to you next time.
You bet. Thanks for coming on.
All right.
Episode 531, folks, in the bag. Dr. Masque, Retro Elixir. Give me my hand. I mean, he posts some great stuff. If you're not following him, all his links are down in the description except for his eBay. But what are you under eBay?
It's under Dr. Masque Retro.
Okay. I'll have to look you up over there.
Okay.
Absolutely. Maybe buy something from you.
Yeah, I don't know if I got a lot out there right now, but part of what I want to do is I'm going to show some of the stuff and then stick it out on eBay. So I'll do some of it on my YouTube channel and then throw it out there. Stuff that I'm not keeping. So
yeah,
so it'll be more.
Maybe I'll sell the Darth Maul mask. Seems like Josh was interested in that. It is cracked. I bought it cracked though. Who cares? It's Darth Maul, right? All right.
Right.
Bow for now.
It's not cracked.